cyanide here. Next episode of the Rust Never Sleeps Cancer Society charity build of the Rat Rod Roadster. Custom chassis, custom body, primarily RC4WD drive running gear, the V8 engine, R4 tranny, drive shaft, I think it's a mega truck drive shaft, and a Yota axle in the back. The electrics in it are Holmes Hobbies electrics. Holmes Hobbies kindly donated these the speed controller and the motor for this build. It was very nice of them, so it was cool. And it also has a multi-function unit in it for the sound and the lights, which was graciously sold to me at wholesale price by Benedini RC Electrics. Anyway, this header plate that I milled out on the CNC machine, I need to clean the edges up on that still, and the other one's attached to the block here, and attach the tube, this sort of stuff, aluminium tube out of a gas heater that I scrapped. So we're going to attempt to glue those on with some JB Weld. The only concerns I really have is getting the pipes to come underneath the steering rod here, so that it will clear, because I'm still leaning towards pipes coming down. I may curve the pipes up and turn them into Zoomies, so I don't have very much that tube, so we'll see how we go. If I muck up even one of them, I'm going to be heading down to the hobby store to get some small scale alloy tube, get a length or two of that. So we'll see how we go with that. Very close to finishing this now. It's pretty cool. Won't be long until we do a little running video and some promotional videos for the auction. So and for those of you who are new to the series, this build will be auctioned off on eBay, and the full proceeds will be going to the Cancer Society. So that's what this one's about. It's I wish it was a keeper, but it's not a keeper. I'm not keeping this one. But it's been a really fun build, and I've learned quite a lot doing this. It's the first rat rod I've built. So anyway, let's get out into the shed and get on with this.
Sunday rain on my parade.
Okay, so there you go, guys. As you would have seen in the fast motion, I was unable to figure out a decent way to dump the headers out down here with a Laker style header, because of on the other side we've got the steering link that goes right across, and on this side we've got the horns, so coming down here they would have to go right down there. So I went with the Zoomies just to get things done. I had originally intended to use these RC4WD the scale bolt head type things. Let's see, see if I can get that in there for you. Yeah, these. So that's the little scale hex bolts with the right heads. But the rub with that is that in order to use those, you have to use a adapter. See that there? And that adapter is quite a lot larger than the heads on the standard bolts. So what I did is I got this left over. This is a timing cover, I guess it is, from the V8 that you take off when you put in the aftermarket one with the pulleys and whatnot. So I had some bolts from that I used to attach the headers. So I will grab the camera and show you up close. Okay, so you can see in there I've got all the bolts in, which is pretty good, because if you look at the images on RC4WD, if they're plastic headers, they use those little scale bolts, but if you look at the images, they're only held on by 2 bolts because they just can't get to the rest of them. So everything's really tight, and it has to be, usually I'm pretty rough with my measurements, but when you're trying to mount to something that's machined properly, there's not really much tolerance. But that looks alright, I reckon. Not too bad. I did weather the top a little bit with a bit of black paint just to make it look like it has been in use. And it's not too bad. Zoomies weren't my first choice, but it'll do. I think I had a lot of reservations about doing this part of the project, to be honest. And I think if we take anything away from today's video is don't let not knowing how to do a thing stop you from starting a project. I had no idea how I was going to do this. Heck, this is the first rat rod I've made. I didn't know how I was going to do about probably 50% of it. Had no clue at all. But it's turned out alright so far. Maybe it's me and I'm biased, but I reckon some of you guys will agree, won't you? So next, detail schmetails. So coming up in the next videos will be putting the RC4 drive distributor on the back, running the cables, and putting in the windscreen finally, which I've got floating around here somewhere, and which is a piece of packaging from an RC4 drive set of wheels, rims. They've changed their packaging now and it's all printed, so it's not clear, which is a bugger, because they used to be clear plastic with cardboard inserts. Now they're printing directly on the plastic, so yeah, have to find something else in the future. What else? I need to, well, I'd like to at least run some little brake lines from these disc brakes up and over to the hairpins here. Just little details left to go, and then we'll do some test running videos. One thing I will say right off the bat is there are things I'm not happy about with this build, and one of those things is the front suspension is pretty much solid. It does not travel well, but you know, hopefully you don't hold it against me. This was a prototype and an experiment, and even though I'm going to sell this off, it's not my intention to pull a fast one on anyone. It is what it is. It's part of its history, and hopefully people will understand that. So it's going to ride a bit funny, I'm sure, but we'll find out. We'll do a running video and see how bad it is. Anyway, guys, I hope you're as happy as I am with this. I think it's turned out pretty neat, and it's, for me at least, a major milestone. Everything's kind of straight and level and looking the part. So yeah, good times in rock and roll, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Next video I'll be back to the shop truck, or upload another video from the recent hot rod show I went to. And I love those hot rod shows. That's what inspires me to do these, is seeing what the guys do in the real world. Alright chaps, see you on the next one, and keep watching, subscribe, and we're going to sell this pretty soon. Giddy up, see you later.